actually reality, ain't it?
Mike got us hooked up with that truck. Mike got us hooked
I've
up
seen
with
it,
that
yeah. Good deal, appreciate it, Mike.
Just to help those people on Plum Street, maybe reduce their trucks down the road. I haven't had no calls in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. We're getting ready to do water separation on 22nd.
Before they come down the line.
They want to go to the road tracks, right?
I think they're in the last phase on that too.
Huh?
I think they're in the last phase of that too.
They had to stop at the tracks, man.
They can go across.
I gotta get my eyes fixed.
Get your eyes good.
I can't see. Just like these. I had great ones, best lenses you can get. Nighttime driving.
What's up, Big D?
Every day.
It's still in Florida.
I haven't seen it ever.
Good week, actually, well, good 7 days. Saw Lydia Friday, it's always better to see her than you.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
She is such a sweet.
Yeah, she is. She's actually down in Florida. We gotta take her to the airport tonight at 10:45. No, they done.
Yeah, he'll be back too. So it's a little question. Did your mom back? Yes. So you were supposed to come back and meet
Pretty good, Doctor.
You're retired.
Mayor Julius and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just thank you we can come here tonight and do the business of the city of Newcastle. We thank you for all that you've done for us and the blessings you've given us. And we ask you to protect all of our citizens and all of our workers. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, roll call.
Mike Duffy.
Present.
Jeff Hancock.
Present.
Jerry Walton.
Present.
Aaron Dickens.
Here.
Mark Hoger.
Here.
Lynn Purdue. Rex Beckman.
Here. Okay, do I hear any, are there any additions or edits to the minutes of last meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes. Roll call vote, please.
Who seconded?
I did.
Okay. I didn't hear him. Okay. Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walton.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hoger.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye. Does anybody have any additions to the agenda? If not, we'll consider it approved. Time for public comments and special presentations. Is there anybody that would like to speak to us from the public? Okay, hearing no one, we'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Guffey?
I'd like to thank the mayor, Lee, Dave Barker, and Jerry Walden for having a meeting on the signage at Grady. I did go back to Grady and talk with them about making the signs, and they're thrilled about doing it. They're going to make 10 signs. Gave them a spec of 18 inches by 18 inches is what he recommended. And as soon as we get those, we can go around. I'll give them to Lee, and he can put up. And I think that will help a lot on the truck route, just instead of having an arrow and saying truck route, and hopefully it'll keep a lot of that traffic off of the roads that the trucks do not need to be on. As soon as I get that, I'll deliver it to you, Lee. Also, just driving around down on Morton Street, there's two cuts in the 1700 block, and I think one of them's been there maybe ever since that modular home has been in. Who's responsible for
What's that address on
that?
Morton?
One of them 1702 and the other 1734 Morton Street. It's been there.
Look at it, I don't know.
It's been there for quite a
I think it's a
while.
water cut, is it? I'll check that out, I don't know.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mike.
To get back to that,
Yeah.
since we've been talking about these signs, I've seen trucks all over the place. I mean, on 14th Street, you know, I think we're just gonna start passing out tickets.
I think you do too.
You know, we've tried to be as lenient as we can. They're turning turns that on roads that they have no business being on.
Turn up the
And
crews.
I think the signs are good,
Yep.
but I think they'll start passing out some tickets, so I'm throwing that out there, so that's up to you guys to.
It's on, we have an ordinance, so, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, you get a few tickets out there and that word will spread.
Well,
Mr. Mayor, when you have the signs up too, that backs up those ordinances.
Well, but some of these signs, some of these truck drivers aren't even gonna be on 25th Street.
Yeah, some of them
around
aren't
Grady.
anywhere near a sign that says, you know, anything. It's just,
Yeah,
Right, and I've had several calls from people that live on Plum Street, and, you know, they called me, and I told them, you see that truck go down the road, then you call Newcastle Police Department. Let them know. I mean, seriously, that's what I told them.
I mean, is there anything, obviously in that area, they're going to Grady.
Right.
I mean, is there a handout, I mean, as basic as it is, that we can give to Grady that says, hey, you might think about giving this to
They
your
give
truck
them out,
drivers?
they already give them out.
Yeah, all right.
And.
I'm just thinking, yeah, signage is gonna help, but if they don't see it,
Grady
if
obviously
they're doing
knows there's a
that.
problem because they're gonna pay for the signs and you guys
Right.
have met with them, so.
Yep, that's the next
It's just a
step.
matter of people not paying attention to what they're
Right.
told.
And with Crown has their own driver, so they know where they're supposed to go and not go. And
Crown's always.
With Grady, they have,
Their milk runs
Yeah.
and milk run, you know, usually. Grady is, it's a broker that's scheduled trucks. Grady doesn't do it.
Yeah.
They have to pick up. So, you know, but they do give a handout, like Jerry said, because they are using a warehouse over on Troy Avenue. That their trucks are going there also. So they want to make sure. But I agree with you, Mayor. I have seen it, I've seen it personally myself also. Truckers stop and ask me, how do I turn around? Well, you're in the wrong place to turn around. bud.
back
You need to
up.
keep going straight.
Step too far already. I think we're asking the police department to start passing out tickets.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Mr. Hancock?
Lee, on North 21st Street, the first block, there's no parking on the east side. That sign's so faded and all that. We put a new sign up there, had one of the neighbors call me. Yeah, it's just overaged and all that. And great job for the girls from Tri-High and the boys from Newcastle Wrestling Team. And that's all, Your Honor.
I wasn't gonna steal Rex's thunder on that, so.
That's better if other people talk about it.
You're the expert on that, buddy.
Rex will give us names, see?
I just wanted to ask everyone to pay attention to the email that Corey sent out to us from the Eastern Indiana Planning Commission for the iReady program. March 3rd, I think it's going to be video connection for you can watch it anywhere. I think it starts at 10:30. So you do have to register, so if you are interested, you can do so. That's all I have.
Mr. Dickon?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Coker? No. My gosh, we're just moving right around. I'm not gonna take too long. Went to a meeting today. I know there has been for a number of years, and back several years ago when we did Stellar. Big topic of conversation was drug and addiction problems. You know, most people want the city or the county or the state to solve the problem, and it's pretty tough, especially for a city or county that doesn't have millions of dollars to throw at the problem. But we did get a settlement recently due to the some opioid litigation. The county got money. The county got the biggest part of the money. We got a smaller chunk, and every small town in Henry County got money. And there's been a push recently by IU Health in Muncie, the city of Muncie, to use that opioid money basically to try to do something. And Muncie, tomorrow, Muncie will, and IU Health will announce a partnership for a crisis center. And this will be a place where people can go, like if the police arrest somebody, or if there's a problem, the police take somebody into custody, or if somebody goes to the emergency room and it's more of a mental health issue or a drug issue that's not something where medical treatment is going to really make a big intervention, they can be taken to this crisis center in Muncie where they will be evaluated and they will stay there for 23 and a half hours. If they want, they can walk out the door and walk back in for another 23 and a half hours, but they will be evaluated, and then they will try to plug them in to services back here or back wherever they're from. The big thing about this is that it really, we hope it helps the people, but it also will be a big relief to like our emergency room, a large portion of the people that end up at the emergency room. And I know, I think I'm right, Matt, you guys take people to the emergency room now, don't you know? A lot of those people don't really belong in the emergency room, and so they need some sort of intervention. And so at that point, they could be taken to this crisis center. Basically, I believe they're talking to Henry County. Muncie has put all their opioid money into this, plus I think some ARP money, but they are talking to about 5 or 6 counties around them. One of the big sticking points initially was, well, you know, if there's only 8 spaces available, and those 8 spaces are filled up by Muncie people every night, what's going to happen to our people? You know, are we going to give you this money and then we're not really potentially not get anything from it? And they have guaranteed that anybody that is taken to that center via police or via EMS, and that's where they're starting at. Now it may expand, but anybody that's taken from Henry County by police or EMS will receive treatment there. Will be taken in and worked with. I don't have all the answers, but we are going to I will have them come to a meeting sometime in the next 2 or 3 meetings and give us a presentation on this. But there are numerous people, county council, county commissioner, myself, county health nurse, hospital people, community foundation, a pretty good group of people that are looking at how this all works. And there's a lot of moving pieces to it. The good news is that if they're hoping that basically Henry County can, over the course of several years, put $1 million into the program. IU Health Foundation will match that $1 million, so it's like 100% return on our money when it happens, basically. But I would answer questions, but I don't really have a lot of solid answers. I mean, I'll be more confusing than I'll be good if you ask me a question right now. But I will have the people that know what's going on come and talk to us about this. Did you have something?
Tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I thought the new county jail was going to facilitate some of these issues.
They have a program,
JCAP.
yeah, JCAP, and I'm not sure just I'm not sure what that, and maybe you could speak to that, Matt, I don't know.
I think it's gonna be more on the people that are addicted to drugs out there in jail. I think that's
For a
gonna
longer
be-
time period?
Do what?
For a longer time period?
Yeah, it's for your addiction more than it is for the psychiatric. What he's talking about is
It's
Just
more-
crisis.
Right, crisis.
I get that.
When we take people out there, EMS, when they just show up out there, they actually hang out in the ER until the doctor's there to find them replaced. Whether it's Paul Memorial, Anderson Center, if it's within one county, and the person's from within the city, or we take them out there, then we'll transport them. It's actually the county sheriff's responsibility to transport all of them. But I've agreed with John, I agree with the corporal, that we transport them. If they were ours, we take them one county out. But the problem is they're having to find beds put across the state or down in Louisville and stuff like that, just falling over. Let's face it, there's not enough resources since the regional sites is what we're gonna try to do.
And this would be kind of a clearinghouse type of place, I think, I get the impression.
My point was, once they get to that crisis center and they need to go someplace, our jail isn't an option.
That'd be arrested, you up in jail, and you have to.
Right.
We're trying to.
I think that'd be a good question to ask them when we have them come here. I mean, I think they could probably answer that much better. Yeah, Val?
And this is Chief Schofield. Are you guys feeding into the Hagerstown Treatment Center at all that's over there?
Not that I've heard.
I mean, that's closer.
All the treatment, all the treatment sites are all dictated by the ERs.
So it's, okay.
And Sheriff Sproles is trying to work with the ER where, sometimes the county might make 3 or 4 runs a day. And like I said, it's, some of them are 4 or 5 hour drives just one way. So that's killing his resources. So he's trying to get them to where the whole, for the end of the day, so they can get some help from either reserves or transport officers, so they're not taking people off the street. So if they got room for 2 or 3 to go to the ball, maybe they can haul 2 or 3 at one time instead of each individual car taking.
Rex, the only thing I've heard, because I work in Richmond, their psychiatric unit, from what I've been told, they're taking people there, they've cut their services like in half. But they're only taking half what they were taking previously.
Who's that?
For mental
Munson?
health.
Well, but this is not, they are not going to Ball. This is a building separate from the hospital and designed specifically for this type of thing. And like I say, we'll have them come, and when they come and do a presentation, everybody can ask their questions, and they'll be able to answer them with some amount of intelligence other than what I can. So.
And one reason Rex is looking at this in the city is our $25,000 a year, is that right?
Yeah.
That we're getting, we wouldn't get our bang for our buck with that here.
Nothing we could do really.
I mean,
to help
in,
the
you know,
problem.
a small town like Greensboro gets, what,
Not even
$200? I mean, you know,
And that's like $200 over the next 6 or 8 years.
yeah, so, I mean, that
So-
it would kind of behoove us not to look into something like this to get a little bang for our buck.
But anyway, we'll have them come and do a little presentation, and you can have people be able to ask questions. But I just wanted to throw it out there so it'll be on the radar. Other than that, I think that's it, Your
We're
Honor.
gonna talk about wrestling a little
Well, everybody else already talked about it. But anyway, no, we had three young men that went to the state finals. We had one young man place 6th and one place 4th. And we had one win a state championship. And he's a freshman. He was 42-0, I believe. And I'm not even the coach anymore. But I am, people do know me. And I've had 3 Big Ten coaches contact me since Saturday night. And he, lots of stuff happens over a 3 or 4 year period. But My feeling is that he will go down someday as the greatest athlete we've ever had in Newcastle.
It's good.
I mean, he's something else. He also plays football, and he is an outstanding football player. If somebody gets out there to the open field, he's going to tackle him. He's an outstanding young man too. So I mean,
That's what cherry on top there.
but he's the real deal. I mean, I've seen a lot of him, and he is the real deal. I told all those guys I talked to that he's special. There's something special there that you just can't really teach. So, but anyway, so I kind of like him. But anyway, I talked to the mayor's son, Kyle, the football coach today, and we talked about how good a football player he is. I talked to a gentleman named Mike Gable Sunday, who was the coach of Evansville Meyer Dave Wrestling and won 11 or 12 state championships. Just won the football state championship, and he was the guy that commentated on the high school state finals, and he commented on how good Tylen was as a wrestler. And he asked me about football. I said, "Oh, he's really good at football." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "I'd imagine he is the way because." But anyway, just proud of him, and I think it were good publicity for Newcastle.
And then we finished 5th in the state?
Finished 5th in the state. That's about maybe the 5th time in school history, the 5th or 6th time in school history we've been in the top 5. Tylen, of course, was our first state champion 28 years. I thought it was kind of neat because he wore, now he didn't wear the same singlet because it wouldn't have fit. But he wore the same, came from the same set. Those singlets last a long time. But he wore, I guess Coach Black gave him a choice of whatever one they wanted to wear, and he chose the one, and I don't know if he knew that was the one that James Dickerson wore back 28 years ago. But he chose that one and wore it, and that was kind of
Very cool.
Kind of cool. So anyway, okay, I'll turn it over to you, Your Honor, for your report.
Good, thank you.
Anything you've got?
Okay, Chief, you got anything today? Chief? Yes, sir. Can you Dale? Mike? Anything from you, Dan? Council?
I don't have anything.
Brandon? Kimber? Greg? Yes. Anything from you, Lee?
Our first 2 CDL people we hired that didn't have a CDL now graduated, and they have their CDL driver's.
Good, good, good. I really don't have anything, so we'll continue the rest of the meeting.
Do you want to bring up the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I should have looked at the back of my
Yeah, I
notes.
didn't know if you would bring that up.
I was thinking you had.
We had our farm property bids come in today we used to have 3, we still have 3 properties that is farm tillable property. Mary Weiland property that we accepted bids for today, took them under advisement, but the 2 other properties, the property on Washington Street in between Wilbright School and Salvation Army, and then on around Hillsborough Road on the north side of our fire training center. We have 2 properties there that, I don't think we need to be landlords or landowners. The reason that we're keeping the property out west of town is because we have had water tests out there and have 4 great water aquifers out there. If we ever needed to put up another water tower, it would be great to expand that way. That's kind of growth of Newcastle anyway. So I have had 2 appraisals on the properties northeast of town, and I'd like to make a proposal. We had appraisals on them that the 2 properties combined would probably value somewhere between $400,000 to $500,000. So I would like to keep the property west of town, but I think it would be to our best interest if we sold the 2 properties on the northeast side of town. The one in between Wilbright School and Salvation Army has already been laid out for development. I don't know that we can market it to a developer, but whether they want to farm it or develop it, there's already a road designed to come out south from, what's the name of the?
Castle Point.
Castle
That's
Point.
point two.
Come out south to Washington Street up by Salvation Army. That was planned years ago. Would love to see some houses developed in there. In Castle Point, in the last 2 years, there's been at least 12 houses built back there in the last couple of years. So that area has been growing. We'd love to see it develop, but if we sell it as farm ground, you know, we can set a price and see what happens. So, Joel, you
Sure.
looked into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the
Probably need to write a resolution.
Yeah,
Vote that it's okay to sell.
process is, I mean, generally the executive can decide to sell property, but if the property has an appraised value in excess of $50,000, the fiscal body, being you guys, also has to approve that. So at some point, we'll have a resolution for you authorizing the sale, probably the next meeting.
If you're for it, I mean.
Yeah.
Is anybody opposed to that?
Does that go to the land bank?
No. No.
Well, you tried.
And then from that point, then the Board of Works will set a price, an asking price. We've got the appraisals, and that's kind of the floor for what we can advertise to accept bids for, and then can award a contract.
Do we need a vote to move forward?
But you can vote to approve selling, I mean, go, as the fiscal body authorizing the sale of the property.
So we'll,
Or you can do that with a resolution.
Joel will write a resolution, and then we'll vote on it next meeting and it'll be fine.
Ignorant question, but what is that currently zoned?
Farm.
I thought it was going to be that easy. Thanks.
You know what that, maybe,
I
yeah,
think it might.
and probably the farm use is probably grandfathered in.
The one on Washington's residential and the one on Hillsboro's farm.
It's Hillsborough, it's still city, right?
On Washington Street, it is residential.
Washington Street is in the city limits, but the one on Hillsborough Road is in the council.
That's probably, they may have its own agriculture. We actually don't have agriculture,
We need to annex it.
We could, it's contiguous.
Yeah. So there's nobody gonna really.
Yeah.
put us much grief.
Now's the time.
Yeah. Mike,
Before the property on Hillsborough is sold, could there be an easement for the continuation of the trail?
There should be.
could be, yeah.
Yeah,
There should be.
yeah. I mean, we could sell it subject to an easement for that.
Mr. Hill?
That actually isn't the city. The city line goes up to the north side. of that.
Hillsborough Road, up to the next county road?
No, just up to the end of the property that the city owns. Does the city own all the way to the?
No.
I didn't think so. I thought it's.
No, there's another lot, so it's just at the city's property line.
So like where the training center is all city, okay.
Our brilliant attorney will look into all that.
Yeah.
He'll-
I'll have answers to all those questions.
So if it is in the city limits, I mean, even if it's agriculture, why would we not want to? But it's in the city limits as far as being contiguous land.
Yeah,
We'll do that, we get them to.
Yeah, why not?
yeah.
Okay. Lot to look into. That is all I have.
Okay, now we'll move on to resolutions. Our first resolution, 0221-2023-1. Resolution authorizing the allocation of coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds from the provision of specified government services and further amending the city's written plan for expenditure. Basically comes to that. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. The Common Council hereby allocates the sum of $15,000 for the planting of trees and other plants around the Fitzgerald Trail. 2, the written fiscal plan for expenditure of revenue received from the coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund is attached. Hereto is Exhibit A, and each such expenditure is allocated to replacement of lost revenue. The remaining sums received by the City of Newcastle through this fund may be utilized for any of the purposes set forth in 42 U.S. Code 803C, and the written plan for expenditure will be amended from time to time as determined by the Common Council in advance of other expenditures. I would move that we pass this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So just for clarification purposes, this is possibly going to be matched by Duke.
I think Jeff Ray is working
On that. Do we have any idea the quantity? I know it's going to be a mix of
A
things,
lot.
but perfect.
I mean, I could probably look at an email and see how many trees he told me.
Are they going to be the saplings like Solid Waste Management District? gives
Young
out?
trees, yeah.
Okay.
Can we combine?
And plus he and Helen Stussy are
Yeah.
working together. He had a meeting a week or so ago, and Helen, part of this money would be used for some native planting
Foliage.
or those type of
Call
things.
him the tree man, her the flower child, so.
Yeah.
Tree man.
So this
Sure.
could be combined for the trees.
Right.
And the
Right.
flower plants.
Yeah. So they're working together on that.
Thanks.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping there, and, I mean, I'm not saying it to me, but I think visually, that is top priority over behind the sewage plant. But if we do get the grant, and it's gonna stretch out twice as long, we'd do Fitzgerald Trail and then possibly use the rest of it behind the sewage plant.
In this,
That Jeff and Helen's already working on.
Yeah.
in this, the trail is going to be done in a way that, kids walking to school can still be seen from the street.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just thinking of questions that are going to come up. Thanks.
All right, hearing no more discussion, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Koger.
Aye.
Rick Speckenpaul.
Aye. Okay, resolution number 02212023-2. Resolution authorizing the expenditure of revenue allocated to the city's riverboat fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. The Common Council hereby appropriates from the Riverboat Fund the sum of $15,000 to provide support to Newcastle Main Street Incorporated. I move we pass this resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Koger.
Aye.
Rick Speckenpaul.
Aye. Okay, that somehow. Okay, our next ordinance, which I can't see, is dealing with the vacation of the alley that we discussed last meeting, and I'm going to move that we pass that on third reading.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, here we go.
And I changed the description around to basically cut it off where the property at 1018 New York Avenue starts.
The drawing came with it too.
Yeah,
you said.
correct, yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Koger.
Aye.
Rick Speckenpaul.
Aye. Still know what happens with this email from time to time. So that concludes our business, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Adjourn. Now we got this thing here, I got no clue how to do it.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
I have to back him off the ship.
Everything been going all right?
Down the road.
Yeah, I think you do within a reasonable period of time. Now, they may have to pay to bring that. Yeah, they may have to pay, if they're going to like develop it, they may have to pay to extend that infrastructure. Similar to what